into into operation. So let's get Nasike Nwajide's view on this and other burning economic issues as we count down to the elections on Saturday, but of course tomorrow a public holiday. Nasike is a member of the economic think tank at Financial Derivatives Company. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you back here at a very interesting time. President Buhari says he will speak with all the Saudis are here to seek our cooperation to effect this output cutback. What's your reaction to this just right at the moment?
Okay, the OPEC's monthly market report for February came out last week, and it turns out Nigeria is producing about 107,000 barrels above its agreed quota of about 1.69. The Saudis, de facto leader of OPEC, they are bent on bringing balance to the oil markets by April, as cutting out excess supply. Of course, that's helped by output losses in Libya, in Venezuela, and of course sanctions on Iran and Venezuela as well. So if Nigeria, if a member of OPEC, a small member of OPEC like Nigeria, pumping above its agreed quota, I mean, the de facto leader stepping in and sending an envoy to Nigeria and speaking up shows, I mean, it gives a signal to the market that it's prepared to do everything possible, including asking members to step back in line and adhere to cooperate to agreed quotas. So if
we're going to cut back, as Mr. President says, well, we'll look into the numbers.
Yes.
Will we be taking off the additional barrels we're producing? Will that hurt our real output figures?
Yes, obviously. I mean, going back to 1.69 from about 1.7,
1.8,
well, about just under 1.8. I mean, that's taking out now about 107,000 barrels a day will hurt. Obviously, the output. There's also condensates, which Nigeria could actually produce more of, and taking our production to above 2 million barrels a day. There's the Total's Egina oil field, which came on stream. Yeah, it's about 250. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but something might have to give in that direction. Yeah.
Okay, so aside this, oil prices is still one big story on the burning economic issues, even as we all run down towards the elections on Saturday.
Yes, they were up to 67.2 this morning. It's driven by positive sentiments. The outlook for the trade talk between China and the U.S. There's even more optimism at this point, because President Trump it's said that there's a March 1st deadline for the talks to have concluded. He's willing to shift that deadline.
By another 30 days?
Yeah, by another 30 days. I mean, on that March 1st, the tariffs on about 200 billion worth of Chinese imports were supposed to move up from 10%.
It looks like both Beijing and Washington are tired.
Yes, and they're looking for the best possible outcome. Shift tariffs from 10% to 25% from March 1st, but he's willing to push that back by another 30 days, so that's driven market optimism. And there's also the U.S. stockpiles came in at they're expected to come in about 3.1 million today. Today's Thursday, 3.1 million today. But even with that, that typically would drive prices down, but the prices have gone up instead because the market is positive on the outcome of the trade talks. Yeah.
Okay. What else is heavily? What is heavy on your team's mindset when we look about the market? Is it petrol prices? Is it the power sector? It looks like distribution is still a bit of a challenge here. Naira seems to be holding it steady as well since the beginning of the week, despite the initial knee-jerk, whatever reaction on Monday. It looks as it's been relatively quiet.
Yes, on the parallel market, it's been relatively quiet. Two things: there's increased liquidity in that segment of the market. There's also, in 2 out of the 3 trading days of the week, the dollar has traded negative against a basket of currencies. It traded negative by 0.06% yesterday. So there's partly due to dollar weakness. Now, on the IFX market, there's the negative sentiment from the postponement of elections, and also reserves that have been slowly creeping down as well. So that negative sentiment has gotten it's about 362 as at today. That continues. The negative sentiment continues to weigh on that segment of the market.
Yeah, but again, let's speak a little bit to the power sector. Any significant story there in the entire mix?
Okay, the gas constraint continues to be, I mean, power's up to still above 4,000 megawatts, but the gas constraint continues to be the biggest constraint. It's about 2,300 megawatts. Gas constraints about that amount. The transmission problems account for about 575 megawatts. There's also, obviously, I said last time, it's dry season, so the water constraints from our hydro power plants, it's about 150. So those are the major constraints on our power output.
Anywhere else we have some positive news? I know we're sending a lot of money around. According to the NBS latest data, we just push a lot of money into the e-payment system. That means that transactions is still very heavy. We're still heavy. We're heavy in terms of spending.
Yes, the increased use, more and more Nigerians are adopting the use of e-payments. It's faster, obviously, quicker payments and settlements. Obviously, if I sell something and I receive money quicker, it means I could repurchase and sell again. So all in all, it leads to increased velocity of circulation in the economy and it leads to increased output overall, GDP.
And that is good for consumers' market.
Yes, good for all markets. Good for the entire economy.
Ecosystem
of the economy.
Exactly.
Growth,
but let's drill down a little bit into. Let's go to the market and folks. I'm sure last week a few folks stocked up on petrol. I'm not sure if anybody's going to do that this weekend. And a few household items, thinking that whatever is going to happen. I was wondering. It's just an election. It's just one day. So let's check in with your market prices, and I love that all the time, trying to check in and cross the T's and dot the I's and try to see which of these agri-products is. What's your market survey showing?
Well, we think prices have been stable. I mean, last week we felt that there would be a surge in prices because a lot of people there was panic buying going on. You see long queues at supermarkets and even at your normal markets. But prices didn't really affect prices. We think that this week, even with the public holiday tomorrow, there will be no. That panic buying happened last week. It won't happen this. We don't see it happening this week, and prices should remain stable going into next week. But we wait on the outcome of. We hope for a peaceful and hitch-free election, and the prices next week will depend on the outcome of Saturday. The outcome,
okay, we just need to drop that there for everybody to know. Yes. Because if folks think that or see that the Saturday election become a little bit fractious and all of that, then I'm sure
there may be more panic buying.
There'll be more panic buying when folks get back to work on Monday. So today is the last official working day as far as Nigeria is concerned. But looking at this price, it doesn't look like there's any major shock yet to the. It looks like flour, beans, cement, gari, rice, tomato. Not much. It's changing here. Nothing much to worry about except for gari there at which directional changes a little bit of a. So the 1 year high and a 1 year low. That's quite a very diverse figure, 16,000 to 6,500. Mixed movement. All of this, you think, will go into our. Oh, sorry. Salaries will be paid. Maybe today.
Yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, it said it's be directed to be paid, but again, I'm not sure if anybody will get those monies until maybe Monday.
Maybe Monday.
Yeah, and get ready for the next round of elections.
Yes. I think, the directive came, I think, a little late. I mean, companies already have dates set out when they pay salaries. So if you direct companies to pay salaries, I don't think it compares.
I think it's government. I think it's government workers.
Yeah, not for the.
Yes, the private sector has their own calendar of salary payment. Today is just the 21st. 21st. You pay folks' salaries a little bit early. What happens? March is going to be a long month.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So maybe folks will just delay it a little bit till next week. Probably.
Yeah, most likely.
Okay, that's it. But let's just hang it in there for today. Nasike, thank you very much, Wajide of FDC. I'm sure we'll check up together after the big election, which is the presidential and the National Assembly.
Yes.
Once we get that out of the way, I think the rest is we're just coasting home with the rest of the election. We can just handle the rest. Thank you. Nasike, member of Financial Derivatives Company Economic think tank. When we come back after the break, it's going to be a lot of big talk with Andrew Nevin, who is a partner and chief economist at PwC Nigeria. They have this report about the top 10 issues to watch in Nigeria's elections and economy for 2019. That's what we're drilling down into with Andrew is live here in our studios with us for that conversation.